interns are up to in the White House. Take your mind off things. Oh, okay. Despite appearances, the Clinton-Bush Fund was not focused on providing traditional relief. Bill's never been interested in traditional relief, right, kids? As they wrote, while other organizations in Haiti are using their resources to deliver immediate humanitarian aid, we are using our resources to focus on long-term development. While the fund would advertise that 100% of donations go directly to relief efforts, Clinton and Bush adopted an expansive definition of relief efforts, treating luring foreign investments and jobs as a crucial part of earthquake recovery. On their website, they spoke proudly of what the New York Daily News characterized as a program of supporting long-term programs to develop Haiti's business class. Wow, they're turning it into sort of like a capitalist nation, setting up opportunities for their cronies and mates and still calling it aid. It's brilliant. The strategy was an odd one. Port-au-Prince had been reduced to ruin and Haitians were crowded into filthy tent cities where many were dying of a cholera outbreak, which had itself been caused by the negligence of the United Nations. Whatever value building new garment factories, they're building a garment factory, tent cities with people dying of cholera. And over here, Agent Provocateur built a lovely sexy new factory. And now for a catwalk parade. Bill, not now, Bill. Not now, Bill. Oh, sorry. That's not aid, is it? That's exploitation. They keep wrapping up exploitation as aid. Does it all click for you now? That's what Hillary Clinton is. She's telling you she's helping you. Meanwhile, she's got your hand in the back pocket. At least Bill's got his hand in your front pocket. Oh no, there's been an earthquake. Right, come on. Get Yves Saint Laurent and Christian Dior, quickly. Well, should we do something about this cholera outbreak? Yes, look at this sequin tuxedo. Do I look nice? Bill thinks so. Whatever value building new garment factories may have had as a long-term economic plan, Haitians were faced with somewhat more pressing concerns, like the basic provision of shelter and medicine, as well as the clearing of the thousands of tons of rubble that filled their streets. It's like Maslow's pyramid of needs there. The basis of that pyramid of needs, that's garment factories. It's only when you get to the upper echelons of Maslow's pyramid of needs do you have time to think about clearing rubble from the streets and dealing with cholera outbreaks. Let's get them garment factories straight first. But maybe these crazy maverick decisions to focus on garment factories led to some sort of vision that we couldn't see yet. The Clinton-led recovery was a disaster. A year after the earthquake, a stinging report from Oxfam singled out Clinton's IHRC as creating a quagmire of indecision and delay that had made little progress towards successful earthquake recovery. Perhaps why they fucked around with sequins and stuff. Of course it created a quagmire of delay. And that's from Oxfam. Oxfam are like just a charity. They'll be behind all of the liberal ideas. They'll be behind all of the diversity. They looked at this and they're like, oh, quagmire. Oxfam found that less than half of the reconstruction aid promised by international donors had been dispersed. I wonder where George Soros's money ended up. And while some of that money has been put towards temporary housing, almost none of the funds have been used for rubble removal. I don't know much about earthquakes and prioritising response to an emergency, but I would say getting that rubble right out of the way has got to be up there. You just turn your attention to a more recent disaster, like the fires in Hawaii, another state that could do without American involvement. How did they deal with that fire? You know, that's why you see all the time people going, oh, Lahaina, stuff went on. We know now, because of the way that independent media works and brilliant journalism, like this journalism that we're using here, that what poses as aid is often exploitation. And do you imagine that since then, Hillary Clinton's had some sort of epiphany and not told you about it? Or do you imagine it's business as usual? So when people are inquiring into the Biden Foundation, if there is one, or Biden's business deals and why Hunter Biden's got a job in some Ukrainian gas factory, you know why. Instead, the Clinton Foundation, IHRC and State Department created what a Wall Street Journal writer called a mishmash of low-quality, poorly thought-out development experiments and half-finished projects. In conclusion, to help you Haitians, a mishmash of half-thought-out, half-assed madness and skullduggery. That's not the solution, is it? Like if you're huddled in a tent city with cholera and that, coughing up blood in the rubble, you don't want a mishmash of poorly thought-out development experiments and half-finished projects, do you? That is not, like, that's what Trump was referring to while Hillary Clinton was going, you idiot, you bought a portrait. The portrait would have been more useful. You could have, ate your dinner off it, if you could afford the rice. A Haitian IHRC member lamented that the commission had produced a disparate bunch of approved projects that do not address as a whole either the emergency situation or the recovery, let alone the development of Haiti. What a waste of time and money. Not George Soros's, though. A 2013 investigation by the Government Accountability Office found that most money for the recovery was not being dispersed and that the projects that were being worked on were plagued by delays and cost overruns. Many Clinton projects were extravagant public relations affairs that quickly fizzled. That's unlike Bill Clinton to be having a public affair that quickly fizzled. Oh man, look at the state of that dress. The Washington Post reported that a 2011 housing expo that cost more than $2 million, including $500,000 from the Clinton Foundation, was supposed to be a model for thousands of new units, but instead has resulted in little more than a few dozen abandoned model homes occupied by squatters. It's arrested development. Other Clinton ventures were seen as disconnected from the realities of most people in the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. In a sense, this is a fantastic story because it's starting in a way to illustrate the disparity that exists between the elite class that have come to exemplify globalism as we commonly refer to it. And not only nations like Haiti, but nations like yours and mine. Peculiar expositions, bizarre gestures, bland, empty promises, a banalization of our culture, a disconnection from the issues that they're supposed to be addressing in favor of extraordinary displays that mean very little. Politico reported that many Clinton projects have primarily benefited wealthy foreigners and the island's ruling elite who needed little help to begin with. Let's focus on those unsung heroes, the island's ruling elite. They've still got cholera. For example, the Clinton Bush Haiti Fund invested more than $2 million in the Royal Oasis Hotel, where a sleek suite with hardwood floors cost more than $200 a night, and the shops sell $150 designer purses and $120 men's dress shirts. Now, while Bill may go through fabric at a rate of knots, most Haitian people are not going to be assuaged by a fancy hotel with what sound like pretty nice floors. We finally have a solution to the cholera and rubble problem. Oh, yes? What is it? Hardwood floors in our tents? Well, no, in the Royal Oasis suite. Can we sleep there? Of course you can. It's $200 a night. Predictably, the Royal Oasis didn't do an especially roaring trade. The Washington Post reported that one recent afternoon, the hotel appeared largely empty, and with tourism hardly booming 5 years after the quake, locals fear it may be failing. In a country with a 30-cent minimum wage, investing recovery dollars in a luxury hotel was not just offensive, but economically daft. That's a British word meaning dumb. Sometimes the recovery projects were accused not only of being pointless, but being downright harmful. Many of these projects were pointless, but not all of them. No, that's true. What about these harmful projects? For instance, Bill Clinton had proudly announced that the Clinton Foundation would be funding the construction of emergency storm shelters in Liagan. But an investigation of the shelters that the foundation had actually built found that they were shoddy and dangerous and full of toxic mold. These shelters, they're shoddy and dangerous. So, and what's that mold? A bit of mold. My cholera! Quit complaining! Hey, want to buy a dress shirt? $120. The Nation discovered, among other things, that the temperature in the shelters reached over 100 degrees. Boiling hot shelters full of toxic mold. These people want to run America. They want to run everything. They want to run the entire world. America's not enough for them. We're doing so well in America. Let's run Haiti. Let's run everywhere. Let's go to wars with places and tell them how to do democracy because we're doing it so well. Shelters reached over 100 degrees, causing children to experience headaches and eye irritations, which may have been compounded by the mold, and that the trailers showed high levels of carcinogenic formaldehyde linked to asthma and other lung diseases. My God, they built shelters for ill people out of carcinogenic formaldehyde that were boiling hot and full of toxic mold, causing children to get headaches. And all the while, remember Hillary Clinton, actually, we're doing great work. Our foundation is brilliant. You bought that portrait. Don't ever forget that you are a vain man. Donald Trump might be a vain man, but as far as we know, he did not build a carcinogenic shelter that would have functioned quite well as a sauna had it not been for the toxic mold. $120 for a shirt? 110? The Clinton Foundation had subcontracted the building of shelters to Clayton Homes, a firm that had already been sued in the United States by the Federal Emergency Management Administration, FEMA, for having provided formaldehyde-laced trailers to Hurricane Katrina victims. Another disaster. Quick, there's a disaster! Well, who did we call in for Katrina? We called in Clayton Holmes, but I haven't got time to hear another word. All I heard was Clayton Holmes. Get out there and build some more shelters for poor people who are poor because of us. Clayton Holmes was owned by Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, and Buffett had been a long-standing major donor to the Clinton Foundation. So when, like, Donald Trump says, you and your cronies, you're all corrupt, he's kind of telling the absolute truth, isn't he? Because it's not like, oh, well, it doesn't matter because the shelters were brilliant. No, the shelters weren't brilliant. It's not like there wasn't an agricultural crisis because of Bill Clinton making them slash their tariffs, because that did happen. All these things are true. All these things are true. So bear that in mind next time Jen Psaki is telling you how bad Trump is, or Rachel Maddow is telling, oh, we better cut away. We better cut away. Trump might say something. What he might say is something like, you can't trust the Clintons or the Democrats' elite class because they are totally corrupt and they cover their corruption by pretending that they're nice about ethnic minorities. I don't think they actually even care about those things. For example, most people in Haiti are black and they weren't having a great time. And the people that suffered most in Hurricane Katrina, poor people, African Americans. So I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like there are many tangible results to back up all this kindness we keep hearing about. The Nation's investigation reported on children whose classes were being held in Clinton Foundation trailers. Their semester had been cut short and the students sent home because the temperature in the classroom had grown unbearable. Let's see what other great work the Clinton Foundation were doing in Haiti. For example, their work educating the poor children of Haiti after a disaster. The most notorious post-earthquake development project, however, was the Caracol Industrial Park. The park was pitched as a major job creator, part of the goal of helping Haiti build back better than it was before. There's a phrase that we've been hearing a lot of, but there's no globalist conspiracy going on. You know that build back better that we did in Haiti? Yeah, but wasn't that a terrible disaster? And all of those... No, it was great. Let's do it everywhere and impose it on everyone. And if they don't want to participate, let's call them, I don't know, racists. The State Department touted the prospect of 100,000 new jobs for Haitians, with Hillary Clinton